Assalamu alaikum. I am Dr. Sharmin Rahman, Associate Professor, Department of Anatomy, Ad-Din Medical College, Mogbazar, Dhaka. Today I am going to discuss about integumentary system. So let's start. Integumentary system includes skin and its appendages, which consist of sebaceous gland, sweat gland, hair and nails. Skin is the largest single organ of our body, which occupies 15 to 20% of the total body weight. Skin has many functions: protection against injury, bacterial invasion, regulation of body temperature, reception of continual sensations from the environment such as touch, pain and temperature, excretion of sweat glands and absorption of ultraviolet radiation. Skin consists of two layers, a superficial layer that is known as epidermis and a deep layer that is known as dermis or corium. The skin develops from many sources. The epidermis develops from the surface ectoderm. The dermis develops from the lateral plate mesoderm and dermatomes of the somites. And the melanocyte cell comes from neural crest cell. The junction of dermis and epidermis is irregular and projections of dermis called papilla interdigitate with evaginations of the epidermis known as epidermal ridges. Beneath the dermis lies the subcutaneous tissue or hypodermis, that is a loose connective tissue that may contain pads of adipocytes. The subcutaneous tissue binds skin loosely to the underlying tissue. In this figure, we can see this is epidermis layer and this is dermis layer, and this one is subcutaneous layer. Now epidermis. Epidermis consists mainly of a stratified squamous keratinized epithelium composed of cells called keratinocytes. Three less abundant epidermal cell types are also present. These are pigment producing cell that is known as melanocytes, antigen presenting cell that is known as Langerhans cell, and tactile epithelial cells or sensory receptor that is known as Merkel cells. From inner to outer, epidermis layer consists of stratum basale, stratum spinosum, stratum granulosum, stratum lucidum and stratum corneum. Now stratum basale. This single layer of cuboidal to low columnar mitotically active cells is separated from the papillary layer of the dermis by a well developed basement membrane. Merkel cells and melanocytes are also present in this layer. Now stratum spinosum. This is the thickest layer of epidermis whose keratinocytes known as prickle cells interdigitate with one another by forming intercellular bridges and a large number of desmosomes. Prickle cells have also numerous tonofilaments and membrane coating granules and are mitotically active cells. This layer also contains Langerhans cells. This is the stratum spinosum layer. Now, stratum granulosum. The stratum granulosum consists of 3 to 5 layers of flattened keratinocytes, is the most superficial layer of the epidermis in which cells still possesses nuclei. The cytoplasm of these keratinocytes contains large irregular shaped coarse basophilic keratohyalin granules which are not membrane bound. Cells of the stratum granulosum also contains membrane coating granules. The contents of these granules are released by exocytosis into the extracellular space, forming sheets of lipid-rich substance that acts as a waterproof barrier. Now, stratum lucidum. It is only seen in thick skin, consists of a thin translucent layer of extremely flattened eosinophilic cells. The nuclei and organelles have been lost and the cytoplasm consists almost only of densely packed keratin filaments embedded in an electron dense matrix. Now, stratum corneum. It is consists of 15 to 20 layers of flattened non-nucleated keratinized cells. These cells lack nuclei and organelles but are filled with keratin filaments embedded in an amorphous matrix. Those cells further away from the skin surface display desmosomes, whereas cells near the surface of the skin called squamous or horny cells lose their desmosomes and become desquamated or sloughed out. Now, types of skin. In our body, there are two types of skin, one is thick skin and another one is thin skin. Thick skin covers the palm and sole of the foot. The epidermis of thick skin is characterized by the presence of all 5 layers. Thick skin lacks of hair follicles, erector pili muscles and sebaceous glands but does possesses sweat glands. Thin skin covers most of the remainder of the surface of the body and the epidermis of thin skin has a thin stratum corneum and lacks of a definite stratum lucidum and stratum granulosum. Although individual cells of these layers are present in their proper locations. Thin skin has hair follicles, erector pili muscles, sebaceous glands and sweat glands. In this figure, we can see the epidermis of thick skin. These are the dead keratinocytes which are present in stratum corneum layer. This is stratum lucidum layer. This is stratum granulosum layer. This is stratum spinosum and this is stratum basale. This is tactile cell, this is melanocyte and this is Langerhans cell. This is the figure of thick skin and this is the figure of thin skin. In thin skin, here we can see the hair shaft, hair follicle, sweat glands, and this is sebaceous gland. Now there are some medical conditions such as in psoriasis, a common skin disease. There is an increase in the number of proliferating cells in the stratum basale and the stratum spinosum, as well as a decrease in the cycle time of these cells. This results in greater epidermal thickness and more rapid renewal of epidermis, but also can produce abnormal keratinization with a defective skin barrier. In adults, 1/3 of all cancers of the skin occurs, and most of these derive from the cells of the basal or spinous layers, producing respectively basal cell carcinomas and squamous cell carcinomas. Skin cancer shows an increased incidence in fair-skinned individuals residing in regions with high amounts of solar radiation. Another type is melanoma. Albinism, due to reduced or absent pigmentation in the skin, hair and eyes. Vitiligo results from a loss of melanocytes due to an autoimmune disorder. Ichthysis, excessive keratinization of skin. It is autosomal recessive trait but may also be X-linked. In severe cases may result harlequin fetus. This is a harlequin fetus. Now dermis, connective tissue that supports the epidermis and binds it to the subcutaneous tissue. The surface is very irregular and has many projections, that is dermal papilla that interdigitate with projections of the epidermis. There are two layers, the outermost papillary layer and the deeper reticular layer. The thin papillary layer is composed of loose connective tissue with fibroblast and other connective tissue cells such as mast cells and macrophages. From this layer, anchoring fibrils of type 7 collagen insert into the basal lamina and bind the dermis to the epidermis. The papillary layer also possesses many capillary loops which extend to the epidermis-dermis interface. These capillaries regulate body temperature and nourish the cells of the avascular epidermis. Some encapsulated mechanoreceptors are also present here, that are Meissner's corpuscles. These are specialized to respond to slight deformations of the epidermis, and they are most common type in areas of the skin that are specially sensitive to tactile stimulation such as lips, external genitalia and nipples. Crus and bulb that is respond to cold. The reticular layer is thicker, composed of irregular dense connective tissue, that is type 1 collagen, and a network of elastic fibers is also present here, providing elasticity of our skin. Sweat glands, sebaceous glands and hair follicles all are derived from the epidermis. Groups of smooth muscle cells are located in the deeper regions of the reticular layer. Other smooth muscle fibers called erector pili muscles are inserted into the hair follicles. Contractions of these muscles erect the hairs when the body is cold or suddenly exposed to a cold environment. Additionally, a particularly group of striated muscles located in the face, parts of the anterior neck and scalp, that is the muscles of facial expressions, originate in the superficial fascia and insert into the dermis. Encapsulated mechanoreceptors are Pacinian corpuscles that respond to pressure and vibrations. Ruffini corpuscles respond to tensile forces and most abundant in the dermis of the soles of the feet. This is crus and bulb. This is Ruffini corpuscle. These are free nerve ending. This is tactile corpuscle. These are root hair plexus and this is lamellated corpuscle. Now, subcutaneous tissue consists of loose connective tissue that binds the skin loosely to the subjacent organs. This layer, also called the hypodermis or superficial fascia, often contains fat cells. Now, glands of the skin. The glands of the skin include eccrine glands, apocrine sweat glands, sebaceous gland and the mammary gland, which is a modified and highly specialized type of sweat gland. Now, eccrine sweat glands, these are abundant throughout the skin. They release their secretory products sweat via the merocrine method of secretion. These are simple coiled tubular glands located deep in the dermis and in the underlying hypodermis. Coiled duct that traverses the dermis and epidermis to open on the surface of the skin at a sweat pore. In this figure, this is a sweat gland, this is excretory duct and this is the sebaceous gland. Now, apocrine sweat glands found only in the axilla, areola of the nipple and anal region. Sebaceous glands secretes an oily substances known as sebum. It is a holocrine gland and it is responsible for acne. Sebaceous glands are found throughout the body, embedded in the dermis and hypodermis, except for the palms of the hands, soles of the foot and sides of the foot inferior to the hairline. Most abundant on the face, scalp and the forehead. So, that is all for today. Thank you for watching my video. Assalamu alaikum.